Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's online discussion. This should be an interesting one. It's going to be a couple of different things that we're doing that will give us a chance to be able to think about our units and also start moving on to kind of the next level. And so I know you've been thinking a lot about your unit plans and looking at the goals, the standards, how all of that aligns to cognitive demand, language demands, things along those lines. And I'm actually at a K through 8 school taking this video. And so I thought I would kind of show kind of a really interesting um, on the board, we start looking at now, again, we're kind of moving in towards the lesson plan level, but looking at the learning targets, they're really focusing on the thing that I can. But we also need to think about when we think about the things that we can, the things that we will do, the demonstrations of your learning. And so as you start thinking about goals in your units and starting to think about even objectives or targets in your lessons, how do you go about doing that? And so thinking I can and I will, I find really beneficial, and it's kind of a really cool setup happening here. And so what you're going to be doing is you're going to have a chance to share your rough drafts of your units. And remember, this is any level of completion, any at all. And you're going to be sharing and sending a link to your article via direct message. And so you've been given a specific group that you're part of or a pair, and you're just going to share. So by Friday of this week, you're going to submit your version, whatever draft you have, to your peer. And then you're going to have the weekend kind of until Monday night to be able to return it back to your partner or your group. I also want you to kind of reflect on and start making connections in your unit plan. So your blog this week is going to be on chapter 1, part 2 of the textbook. And by textbook, I mean the online blog that we have going for our course, the open textbook. And so you'll read, and it's going to ask you to really kind of take one specific goal and connect it to language demands and connect it to cognitive demand, and then just think about how does that connect overall. And so you're going to get a chance to be able to write, and I'm hoping when you do that writing that you'll be able to kind of again see how those connections are made, and kind of ensure that you in your mind you're where you're at for this particular section, right? It's kind of almost like a check your work. Am I actually making the connections I think I'm making? Then the last thing I'm going to ask you to do, because once we come back together in person again, we're going to start diving into lesson planning. And so that's our task 2, where you're going to plan, enact, and reflect upon a set of 3 to 5 lessons and an assessment. The first part is planning. And so I'm going to ask you to annotate those documents with what you wonder and what you notice, so that when we come together, you're just ready to dive in and we can really focus on lesson planning. I believe I also have 2 lessons that you can use to explore that as well. So take a look at the math lesson, take a look at the science lesson, and we'll be using those in class when we meet again. Anyways, thank you all so much for your fantastic work. Send me a direct message if you have any questions. Looking forward to it.